Hi everybody, my name is Angelica from the Math Magician Bookkeeping. I'm one of the students in Bryce's coaching program, and today I'm asking, is bookkeeping right for you? So you may have watched some of the videos on this channel, and there are tons of videos that are super helpful if you've already started your business and to help you grow your business, gain clients, do all of those wonderful things. But you may be watching these videos and wondering, and to get some insight, but you may be watching these videos in order to get some insight of if you actually want to start your own bookkeeping business. So today I'm actually going to be going over what is a bookkeeper, what's the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant, what are some tasks that bookkeepers do, and what are some skills that you need to have to actually be a bookkeeper. So first off, let's start off with what is a bookkeeper. So a bookkeeper is someone who's going to take care of your financial records and transactions and be able to make sure that they are organized and recorded. That way, come tax season, everything is accurate and up to date, and then the accountant can come into place. So what's the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant? Your bookkeeper is going to be taking care of your day-to-day tasks when it comes to finances, sending out invoices, categorizing transactions, so on and so forth. And then your accountant is actually going to take some of those financial statements, everything that's been compiled, and be able to forecast how the finances will look and be able to get taxes done. So that is the difference between a bookkeeper and accountant. Basically, the accountant does kind of an overview of everything that's happened over the last year. They don't need to be involved as much as a bookkeeper that actually does pretty much everything on a day-to-day basis. So with that being said, what are some bookkeeping tasks? Well, the very first one that you're going to more than likely be doing and learning is categorizing transactions. So these transactions are coming out of your client's bank account, credit card, loan, whatever, but you're basically taking any of those transactions, incoming or outgoing, and you're going to categorize them to the correct thing. So you'll have your incoming and your outgoing transactions. Your incoming is obviously going to be income, so that's products that are being sold or services that are being provided. And so you'd put that towards sales income or services income, whatever way that income needs to be categorized. And then there's also going to be your outgoing expenses. So that's obviously going to be anything that is being used for the business. So let's say you went out to eat with a client, you can charge that as meals. If you went and had accounting services, you'd put that under professional service, accounting service, something like that. So basically, you're just going through every single transaction and making sure that it goes in the correct slot or category. Some people call it coding. And so what this does is it makes sure that everything is in its correct place. That way, come tax season, whenever you hand everything over to the tax accountant, they'll be able to see what items can be deducted. Because some things can only have so much of a deduction, like meals and entertainment. And then other things, you get a full-on 100% deduction. I think bookkeeping and accounting is one of those that is 100% deductible, meaning that they get that money back. They get kind of reimbursed for the money that they spent. So having that is very important. That way they don't owe a bunch on taxes, and that they're actually having a good balance of money coming in and money going out. Because the whole reason people have to pay on taxes is whenever they have too much money coming in and not enough going out. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, but yeah, so if you get too much that's yours, then the government wants a piece of it. So that's how it goes. But that's one of the main things you're going to be doing is categorizing those transactions. So then, once everything's categorized, and this is done pretty much on a daily basis, the categorizing of transactions, then you want to make sure the account is actually balanced. So if it's a bank account that you're looking at all these transactions for, you want to make sure at the end of the month, everything is balanced. If you're using a bookkeeping software, more than likely it can be linked to the actual bank account that you're getting those transactions into, and then you can categorize those accordingly in that actual software. And then from there, once everything, like I said, is done, you want to look at the bank statement and make sure that every single thing that's coming through that bookkeeping software is actually matching up with what's actually being done within that bank. So this is just a really nice way of making sure everything is 100% balanced. There's nothing that hasn't been accounted for and everything is accurate. So that's one of the things that you'll be doing, and that's called reconciling an account. And then some clients will have you do this. You may not have to do it all the time, but entering invoices and bills. So this is going to be entering invoices for your clients' customers, if they're selling products or offering services, making sure those get sent out to that customer. That way they can get paid for that. And then you have your bills. So this is going to be invoices from vendors. So it's going to be kind of the same way of people that you're actually buying stuff, or people that your client is actually buying stuff from. And so you'll be able to enter those bills, and that's considered accounts receivable and accounts payable. The receivables is going to be the income part of it, the invoices that you're sending out to your customers. And then the accounts payable is going to be what you are going to have to spend to a specific vendor or someone that you need supplies from, or Home Depot, so on and so forth. So that is something that you may have to do as a bookkeeper. Some clients don't require it. Some like to take care of their own. But I know for me personally, I have a client that they send out all their invoices, but they do receive bills. They basically put in a purchase order of whenever they were purchasing that specific thing, and then she'll send me the bills. I enter the bills, and then every expense that comes through, I'm able to match to those specific bills through the bookkeeping system that I use. And then not only do you have just your regular categorizing, your regular reconciling, invoices, bills, but there can be some data entry involved. So there may be a expense or income transaction that is actually missing, that doesn't match up with the bank statement. You may actually have to enter that information in. So you may actually have to put, okay, this was just an expense that never came through the bookkeeping software for whatever reason, but it still needs to be recorded. You'll also be entering data entry. I know, especially if you are going to work with people that own real estate or property management, then you're going to be entering journal entries, which provide a kind of ledger of how much someone spent on a property. That way it's recorded of what the actual loan amount is, what they spent on that property, all the fees that went to the realtor. So everything's kind of broken out and they can see, and then over time they're able to kind of track how much is left on the loan. And then if they ever sell that property, they can kind of turn around and go, okay, well, I made, $300,000 profit based off of what I originally spent. So those are certain things you may have to be entering in manually. Next is payroll. Some clients may not require you to do this, but it's kind of a general thing that bookkeepers do. But providing payroll services, there's bookkeeping softwares out there that actually do payroll, or you can do payroll through those bookkeeping softwares. There's payroll companies, like I am partnered with ADP. They are a payroll company. And so basically I have to pay them, but then whenever I do the payroll services, I basically can charge each client that payroll service and kind of be the middleman and get back what I put into it. So I don't know if that made a whole lot of sense, but basically you're getting payroll together, which involves sending out paychecks for your client's employees, pretty much. Making sure that everybody's getting paid, and then quarterly handling the payroll taxes that come with that. And then next, like I had mentioned, this is something that you don't necessarily have to do, but I like to be a full service bookkeeper, and so I like to include budgeting and business advisory in my services for my clients if that's something they want. And budgeting is something that's going to help them be able to see where their expenses are going and how their income is coming in. And basically I can look at that and go, yeah, you're probably spending a little bit too much on meals and entertainment right now. If you actually put that money towards this, and you'll be able to get that back in the long run. Or, it just kind of gives them a better idea of where their money is going. That way they are able to keep track and make smarter decisions within their business, so that they can actually grow their business and make more of an income and then keep expanding. So there's a whole lot of uses for that. And I can make another video entirely on budgeting and business advisory, because I know a lot of bookkeepers that don't typically do that, but I try to practice that within my business. So let's talk about the skills that you need as a bookkeeper. So bookkeeping is actually pretty simple, but there are things that you may have to do. So one of the things that drew me to bookkeeping was the kind of detail. I'm a very detail-oriented person. I like organization, and I like solving puzzles. And so that's kind of what bookkeeping was for me. It was a great way for me to kind of have everything that I really enjoyed all in one. So you're going to have to be kind of an organized person, or at least know how to organize certain things. Like I said, whenever you're categorizing transactions, you're organizing those transactions into their different little slots, if you will, a little folder that each little expense is going into to make sure that everything is accurate. So you're going to have to be organized to some extent with that. And then, like I said, attention to detail. Whenever you're reconciling things, there may be some reason why it's not reconciling or the balance is off. You're going to have to actually pay attention and go through every transaction to figure it out. And sometimes it could be something as simple as the ending balance that you put in is wrong, or the ending date is wrong, but it's like tiny little minute things like that that can get you that you may not be aware of. And then along with that comes problem solving. So along with the attention to detail, like I just said, is kind of taking a step back and being able to look at this and go, okay, what is going on? Because there have been so many times that I've tried to reconcile something. All my amounts are in there, everything seems fine, but it's not balancing, and that's because it's grabbed onto one transaction that just happened to be on a different statement date. And so even though it's within that month, it may have grabbed it from a month afterwards, like it didn't go through until after that month. And so you kind of have to problem solve and figure it out. Like I was saying with my client earlier that I enter in the bills and they do the purchase orders. Sometimes whenever I'm looking to match the payment that they made to that actual specific bill or vendor, it's hard to find. So I actually have to get in there, get on their vendor's website, look at the actual payments, figure out what's going on. Why is this amount in here, but it's not actually showing up? So I'm actually kind of in the middle of doing something like that right now. But it's about taking that time, that way your client doesn't have to figure out what are these small little issues and what is throwing this off so bad. So kind of taking the time to figure out what is the missing puzzle piece and how do I get to that point. And so along with that goes digging deep. I wrote that down because it involves more than just surface level, oh yeah, here's the thing and I can just enter in a number and it'll magically go away. There are a lot of bookkeepers that if something doesn't reconcile, will just randomly put a journal entry to change, if your account balance is off by $1,159, they will just randomly put $1,159 in there just to make the account balance, which is great that the account is balanced. But now we have no way to show where that $1,159 came from. And so those are kind of dire situation only, but it's more than just, I've got to do this to fix this problem real quick. It's actually figuring out what's going on and kind of digging in a little bit more. So anyway, that is kind of my take on bookkeeping. Those are some of the things that you may have to do as a bookkeeper. I personally really enjoy it. If you want to watch my story, you're more than welcome to watch my story of how I became a bookkeeper. But yeah, anyways, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. And if you are just starting your bookkeeping business, if you're thinking of starting a bookkeeping business, there is nothing else that I would recommend than actually talking with someone who has been through it and who can give you some great pointers. And that would be Bryce. Like I said, I'm one of the students in his coaching program, and he's helped me grow my business so much. And so if you're interested in learning how to grow your business once you actually get it on its feet, then please click the link in the description below to schedule a free phone call with him. That way he can kind of help you out and get you in the right spot. So thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.